Are you thinking about, hey, I have a house, I want to do an extension or I need a permit and you don't know where to begin? Well, I got somebody for you. My special guest today is Osmar Alexander Martinez Suarez. I hope I got it all right. Uh,
So thank you, Evantz. My name's Osar Alexander Martinez Suarez, like you just said. I'm an architect and registered in New York State. Basically, my job right now entails doing conversions, enlargements, legalizations, alterations to one-two family houses. I also do small commercial, but right now my main focus is Long Island and the five boroughs.
all right. How long have you been in the business?
I've been in the business since about 10 years now. So I worked with
Mhm.
an architect in College Point for about almost nine. And before then, I was working in Melville for an architect slash engineering firm for about a year and a half. That's where I got my foot in the door with the architecture career.
And the
And then
rest the
before
rest is
then,
history.
yeah, the rest is history. And then before then, I went to New York Institute of Technology in the old Westbury campus.
Okay. All right. So tell us something. What do you deal with on a daily basis?
So on a
Like
daily
on an
basis,
average day for you?
I'll wake up between 7 or 8 to get ready because normally I start everything at 9 o'clock. And if I have my staff that day, I'll wait for them to come in and I'll give them the tasks they have to do during the day. If that because I have part timers, so sometimes they don't come in. I'll look I have a little book of my task or something written down that's pending. And I'll make sure that I try to hit every block that I need to. And then I'll check emails. Emails, some things come in, either, client needs some help on the current job, or they might be new prospect jobs that I have to start looking into to either make proposals or just to make a analysis to make sure it's feasible. Because sometimes if it's not feasible, then, there's no point in making a proposal.
All right. So are you meeting with a lot of clients virtually or are you meeting face to face? How does that work for you?
Face to face or sometimes phone calls, but eventually I have to meet the client.
Okay. Now, let's say on average, somebody sees you, they hear about your services, and they want to put an extension in the house or they're remodeling the house. You're meeting with them. Walk us through it.
So it's perfect
But
you asked that question. We just landed a job that's very similar to the situation. I had worked with the contractor for about a year and a half now, and she, referred to me her friend. She wants to do an extension in her house. So she gives me her phone call. The owner gives me a phone call. She says, "Hey, what do we need to do?" I'm like, "Let me check the zoning first to make sure how like what's your allowable extension." We do the zoning analysis and say, hey, listen, this is what you can do. And then she's like, oh, okay, I actually wanted, I don't want it that big. I want it less than that. I'm like, well, this is you. Then it's feasible. We're good. We're good to go. So once we agree on how big she wants the extension in the front and the back, we make an appointment with her. Well, we make a proposal first, sorry, to make sure that it encompasses all the scope of work. We review it. If the customer is okay, she'll have a payment schedule. She signs it, and then we schedule an appointment to go to the house to go measure the existing conditions and verify everything with pictures and measuring tools and everything. While we're doing that, at the same time, we're going to go to the Department of Buildings to see if there's any DOB records, just to see if, because sometimes it's helpful, especially with things that include structure. We can verify that, oh, this is the existing structure and it's okay, we should be fine. Or maybe we have to reinforce something because let's say it's just not, the structure's not there for what they want to do. Once we do that, then we start making proposals for the ideas that they want. They tell us the ideas. We go back and forth for about a week or two, and then finally, we actually just finished today uh, the final touches of what they wanted. They approved the sketch, and now we're moving forward with the construction drawings for the Department of Buildings. So now we got to design the structure, which is wood. It's nothing too complicated. We're gonna do they want to do wood framing around it, do foundations. So it's gonna take about another 2 weeks. Once we get that done, then we can start the filing process with the Department of Buildings. We have to go through the plan examinations. While we do all this stuff, the client can start getting if so. Let me just say something real quick. The client, since they're gonna do foundation, they'll need soil reports. Since the house is older than April 1st, 1987, they need asbestos reports. And then they're gonna have to start getting a special inspector on board just to make sure that any special inspections are done by a third party because the city doesn't do those inspections. So while we're doing all this stuff, they can start getting the ball rolling on that. And once it's ready to file, we have everything ready and ready to go. So that's where we're at right now.
What's the estimated time from start to finish, basically, from when they have the consultation with you and then where you're at right now, this current client?
Well, it always depends on the client as well. So if let's say we got the job today, right? We're hoping that maybe within a 2 week frame, maybe less, say they're happy with the design, and then once the design is in, it could take another 2 weeks for us to prepare the filing, the construction drawings for the DOB. So let's just say worst case scenario, a month before it goes into the Department of Buildings. And then depending on how fast the Department of Buildings and the zoning is everything's in, it could take another between two weeks to another 4 weeks for an approval. Once the approval is in, then it could take about a week to do the permits, and then depending on the contractor how fast they are, because in this case the owner is a contractor, so they'll
Okay.
take me to do that. But usually the contracting takes about, I would 6 months to a year, depending on how much skill and work they have, workforce they have.
All right. So pretty much everything is tangent, basically, to everybody working together and everybody holding up their part of the bargain. Whatever their task was, that everybody's doing this in unison. As you're doing your part, the contractor's doing their part, the homeowner's doing their part, and whoever else is tasked to do whatever they have to do, everybody's doing their part at the same time.
Correct. If everybody, yes, exactly. If everybody's able to do their part in a nice, timely fluid, it could go in very smoothly. But there's always hiccups somewhere here and there. It's never a very smooth transaction. You make it, you
Well,
try your best, but
life happens. Life happens. Stuff
exactly,
happens,
exactly.
basically, and you got to bounce back and figure it out. Now, what's something that basically would make it easier in your job that you want people to know? Hey, if you took care of this, it'll make my life easier for my job to make you less stressful. What's something that you want to tell the audience?
Well, to be honest, it's not really so much a client as much as the Department of Buildings. That's the most stressful thing for me. If the client, the only thing I could maybe tell the client is, if the more time you take on your design, the more time it's going to take to submit. That's it. But
Okay.
that's not going to give me a headache. That's fine because I like working and making sure that the client gets what they want.
Okay. Gotcha. Anything else you want to say to the clients, basically, who are possibly thinking about making some renovations or changing anything in their homes that they should be mindful of?
Yes, you just got to be mindful of the professional you pick, that they're upfront with you. Because I've seen some horror stories with some professionals. I'll give you a quick example right now. I had
Yeah.
a man right now. It's been almost a year and a half. He gave me his job, and basically the previous architect didn't do any zoning, didn't do anything, didn't do any revisions. And at the end of the day, when I took the job over and reviewed it, I had to unfortunately tell him that the architect had called the floor the wrong thing. He had to gut the whole first floor because it couldn't be a cellar, and then he had to change a couple of stuff, and then we had to fight for his attic because the Department of Buildings almost didn't accept it. Luckily, with the Department of Building records that we found, we were able to substantiate that was an existing habitable space. So just so you know, if a habitable space has to have at least 8 feet, 8 feet ceiling height, and it didn't. But because we had records that had shown in the past that it was approved that way, the Department of Buildings had accepted it. So just be mindful of don't jump to the first person or somebody who's too eager to, let's say, grab your money and not give you good explanations, because I've seen a lot of stuff that sometimes I have to work, and then it doesn't look good for other architects either, because then now people don't trust us. They're like, oh, everybody's like
Yeah.
this guy. You know.
All right. So you gave us a lot of things to think about. Now, if somebody's interested in reaching out to you, get some more information, how can they reach you?
Yeah, you can reach me at 516-331-4198, or I have an Instagram right now. It's ohms underscore arch. That's OAMS underscore ARCH. And then you could also email me at Ozmar, OZMAR, at ohms-arch.com.
All right. Awesome. Ozzy, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time basically to do this. I'm putting out content basically I want to put stuff out for people basically so they know they have options, whether they're changing something in a house, so they don't have to do it alone. I want to point them in the right direction, and hopefully basically people see this, they will like reach out to you. I'm like, hey, I definitely need to speak to this guy and see how he can help me and my family, or whatever my situation is. I'm Evantz Saint-Gerard, your local realtor here in Queens, Long Island, Brooklyn, the Bronx. You think about buying, selling, that's what I do. If you have any questions about anything, zoning issues, you might want to talk to him as well. Feel free to reach out to either one of us and we can help you with whatever your scenario is. With that being said, I hope you got some value out of this. If you have any questions, scenarios, whatever the case may be, reach out to us, ask us questions. That's what we're here for.